aren't separate from it, but it's your egoic story that still believes that you are, that believes there's a lack, that believes you have to do something in order to go get it. And I'm not saying action isn't a part of it, but action becomes different. Action actually becomes inspired from the field. So very much what will happen is everything that is current in your life in the 3D world has to shift because a new order is in place, right? You placed your order. A new order is in place. So if there's things in your life that don't match that order, they have to go away. They have to fall apart. They have to dismantle. They have to come crumbling down sometimes.
Welcome to Winning the Divine Lottery. I'm your host, Amy Dawes.
Welcome back to Winning the Divine Lottery, your favorite podcast where we get to create experiences in the quantum field and have these amazing, mystical, unknown experiences find us. And I really want to dive into that a little bit deeper today because in the process of elimination and my understanding of journeying within creation, manifestation, thinking from the end, all of these aspects of consciousness and the way we think and conceptualize things have a certain common thread connected to them. And I really just wanted to share the shift in understanding as I evolve and grow. As such, when we evolve and grow, our understanding evolves and grows around these concepts and our experiences because we can intellectually know something, but when we embody it, it comes into the heart, it comes into the body. So I really want to jump right in to the quantum field today and talk about what it means to create from the quantum field. And that really is about getting beyond our story. We have a story around our identity, our current self, based on everything that has happened to us. So it's based on known experiences, which hold emotional charges, which create memories and make us act and be in a certain way. And recently I had a shift in what it really means to think from the end. And this was given as an example of creating an island. And if you're creating this island, let's say this island is your vision, your vision for your life, who you're going to be, how you're going to spend your time, how you're going to feel on this island, then everything that you create in your life, you're doing it from that state. You're doing it from the island. You're not doing it from your current situation, circumstance, life events, all the known stuff. Looking at the island, you're actually on the island creating from that. So that's thinking from the end. You're already in the state of being on the island. And the island for me really does. It represents the state of being, which I teach in a lot of my courses and one-on-one with clients. It's really helped me shift my inner awareness and perspective because the analytical mind can get in the way and the ego can really draw us into this space of looking around in the 3D and see everything that's missing in our life. So Dr. Joe Dispenza even says this, whenever we create from the 3D, we're always creating from a place of lack because we actually have to create matter with matter. We have to physically move our bodies through time and space to get to a certain result or outcome. Creating from the quantum is exactly the opposite. We actually go beyond time and space. We let go of the identity. We go beyond our story. We go beyond all the roles that we play in our life. And we get to this quantum field of nothingness. And in nothingness, it's all frequency and vibration and information. And when we are there, we don't have any attachments to our story. There is no belief systems. There's no knowns. It's just the unknown. And this is where we're focusing our energy and attention. And this is then when we experience no thing in no time and nowhere, we actually, as Dr. Joe says, go through the eye of the needle, and then we become everything, everywhere as everyone. There's no separation. We are true oneness. And so I love this island metaphor because I love islands. I love the ocean. I love the beach. In my meditation for years and years and years, it's been decades actually. I am often on an island. I am oceanfront because that's the home of my soul. That's where it loves to be. And so when I'm in that space, that's where I am. This island, you have to get clear on what it is. Not necessarily what you are doing on the island, but who you are being on the island, your state of being. What emotions are you experiencing every single day from moment to moment? Are you joyful? Are you content? Are you at peace? Are you excited? Are you in love with life? Do you feel a sense of an adventure and awe for life? Do you feel exuberant and vital and alive? This is the state of being, this island that we need to get very, very familiar with. And we need to go there as often as possible so we can train our bodies to a new mind. So let's go back to creating from the 3D. If we're creating from the 3D, we automatically know that we're creating from lack. So I hope that just liberates you in some way, that no matter what, every single person who creates from the 3D is creating from lack. It's just the way it is. We see what's missing and we physically have to move our bodies through time and space in order to create a certain outcome. And that's what creating from matter to matter is. Okay? Creating from the fifth dimension, the quantum field, this information field of frequency and vibration, is actually going beyond all matter. So you have a relationship to matter based on your identity, because your identity has a whole history, which is jam-packed with memories and stories and perspectives and interpretations and all that mixed up. But when you completely let that go, and you get into just pure frequency, vibration, unconditional love, pure loving, conscious awareness, you are nothing, and therefore you are everything. Stick with me. And when you create from this space, you are creating from energy to matter. You are creating from wave to particle. You are creating from already the energetic state of being into form. This way, and I have evidence upon evidence upon evidence upon evidence that this way is the most fundamental, natural way to create. But we have been trained, because of our 3D world and our 5 physical senses, to focus on what's missing. There's a little bit of a pun here, a little bit of an irony, that there's 99.99999999999% of reality that we can't see. So that's actually not necessarily what's missing, but that's where we want to take our focus and our attention and our energy. And we do that by allowing the conscious analytical mind to become really, really quiet. We get into our hearts, because our heart is the center of I am. It's a gateway. It's like the gates are open, and when you're in your heart, you can go directly to source, directly to the divinity within you, directly to this information field that has all potentials and all possibilities. And every time you have a thought, and then the old story, the part that's identifying with who you are right now in your life flares up like a symptom, you have to be able to pull yourself back into the present moment, where there's only this. There's only you. There's only oneness. There's only source. Okay? What I love about the way Spirit speaks through me is there's just always been this thing that happens, and I'm sure maybe it's happened for you too, is you always see words differently, because our language is so holistic in a sense and very prophetic. And the way we use it, we actually cast spells into our life. We are prophesizing over our life. And so the word become, you have to be it in order to become it. If you think about this, okay, when we're creating from lack in the 3D world, we have to go get something. We have to make things happen. We have to apply physical, energetic, mental motivation and action into the material world in order to produce an outcome. When you create from the quantum, you first be it and then it comes to you. You draw it to you. Do you hear the word become? You first be it and it comes to you. You first be it and it comes to you. In the 3D material world, this lower density world, we don't first be it and then become it. We try to get the thing before we be it. So we're always trying to get something to validate who we want to become. Creating from the quantum, an infinite field of pure consciousness, is the opposite. We be it and then we become it. We be it and then we become it. We draw it in. We literally become a magnet that matches the frequency of the being, the state of being that we are on in that island that we are creating for ourselves, simply because that frequency feels good. That frequency actually feels more natural to us than the frequency that we're normal to living on. Sorry, the frequency that we're used to living on, familiar with. And that's usually the frequency of survival. That's the job of the brain and the personality in the 3D world, to survive. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's something more. Or you wouldn't be here listening to this podcast with me today. You wouldn't be a seeker. You wouldn't have thrown yourself into personal development. You wouldn't have got to this place in your life asking yourself, there's got to be more than this. It feels like there's something missing. And it's because, again, a play on words, there's something missing, but it's only in your awareness. What's missing is that there's this whole field of information. 99.999% of what you actually can't see with your five senses exists, and you have access to it. However, throughout the years and the layers of conditioning, you haven't been focusing on that. Every once in a while, maybe you do because you trust your intuition. You have a gut feeling and you go with that. Where do you think that is coming from? That's signaling from this information field, this unified field of consciousness. So the more we speak about this out loud, the more you become aware of it, the more you're going to want a relationship with this. Some people call this God. Some people call this the universe. The beautiful thing about science is it bridges that gap. So it's as simple as making a decision today. I want to decide right now that I want to become an energetic match to all potentials and all possibilities in this unified field. If you make that decision today, guess what will happen? Things will show up in your life. Perhaps somebody like Dr. Joe Dispenza, perhaps somebody like me, perhaps meditation person who is teaching you how to relax the mind and get into this heart space of yours. There are going to be things that show up because they're just like there's an algorithm on technology, there's an algorithm of the universe. So what you think on a regular occurrence gets signaled out into this field that you can't even see, that you might not be very aware of. Every thought that you think is a frequency, and it gets signaled out into this field, and it keeps drawing the mirror reflection of that back into your life. So to get really clear on what you're thinking, would you think that would be beneficial? If you believe your thoughts have something to do with creating reality, then yes. you would understand that thoughts are frequency. They are vibration. They resonate at a certain frequency. So if you're focused on lack and you're focused on what's missing from your life, get familiar with what thoughts you are thinking on a day-to-day basis. We think almost the identical thoughts from the day before and the day before and the day before. And that's habitual. That's because we haven't opened our focus. We haven't opened our awareness to this other 99.9999999%, this intelligent field that exists within us, around us, as us, for us. We came from it. Our whole bodies are made up of atoms and subatomic particles. And you break that down and it's just pure energy, frequency, vibration. That's what we are. That's what all of this is. All of this is just a holographic image of all of that. So in order to really, change is the only constant, but in order to consciously create change, it's about gaining awareness of this field, going into this place where you can go beyond your story and you can be in the field and you can create from this place and you can generate a state of being from the inside out without anything. You're doing it all on your own. You're doing it because you put your focus on something that's going to generate a feeling and a sensation that generates a feeling of joy or exuberance or love for life or wow, excitement, being in love, gratitude, appreciation. You do that by putting your focus on something that's going to generate that feeling. And you are literally training your physical body to a new mind. So it's almost like I wish I actually have two highlighters. Okay, for those of you guys who aren't watching the video, I'm literally just holding two highlighters from distance apart. Okay, highlighter number 1 and highlighter number 2. Okay, if you just held your hands up right now, for those of you who are only listening to the audio, as long as you're not driving and it's safe for you to do this, please, safety first, okay? Here, one of the highlighters represents your 3D physical world. The other highlighter represents the field, okay? The quantum field, infinite intelligence, pure loving consciousness, the unified field of wholeness, whatever you want to call it, God. Here in the 3D, you have to physically move through time and space to go to the thing that you want to create. Can you hear my tapping of my highlighters? Hopefully that's coming across harmoniously to all of you listeners out there. The one that represents the field, the unified field of consciousness, this quantum field where all potentials and all possibilities exist, frequency, energy, just pure frequency, energy, information, okay? When you focus more of your attention here, what happens is it draws you to it. So it will actually draw your 3D physical body to it. Now, when you're looking at me, it kind of looks like I'm doing the same thing. The 3D goes to it and the field draws your body to it, but it's not the same. It's not the same. One takes physical, mental, emotional effort. The other one is literally just going beyond yourself and creating the frequency, the feeling of the frequency of if that thing were already true in your world right now, if it were already true that you were in a loving, harmonious partnership, if it were already true that you had $1 million in your bank account, if it were already true that you were in a community supported by people, family, friends, if it were already true, you fill in the blank. If it were already true, how would it feel? And then you allow your heart to open and you feel that feeling like it's already done. And what happens is that field then goes and organizes everything around your 3D physical you, the story of you, and draws you to experiences, people, places that need to be drawn to you in order to bring you to the energetic match of the frequency of the feeling that you created. Does it make sense? I will say it one other way. So, if your energy, your conscious awareness, your focus is on the field, and you're generating a feeling that matches a frequency of what you would experience if you already had that thing, then life reorganizes itself. The universe reorganizes itself. It creates order in order to bring you, the story of you in your 3D physical world, to it. And so it's a drawing in. It's not a go-getting. It's a drawing in. It's a coming in. And actually, both things are you. There is a consciousness of you in the field, which is actually your future self, which doesn't really exist, but we can call it that. Your higher self, your future self. And it's actually you drawing you to you, because the you over here is beyond your story. And if it's beyond your story, it's beyond all your limitations in the moment. In the moment, limitations don't exist. Problems don't exist. None of that exists. You are creating from a new level, a new mind, a oneness mind, God consciousness, the universal mind, where all possibilities and potential exist. So you don't have a story over here. Okay? So then, because that is so powerful, and when you open your heart and you embody it and you're in gratitude, you're in appreciation of the experience of it before it actually even happens, then order is heaven's first law. Heaven wants to bless you and give you all your heart's desires. So it will create order, the right order. We call this divine order, divine timing, in order for you to become it. Let that sink in order for you to become it. Not that there's a shortcut, but if there were a shortcut, the shortcut would be get into the state of being in the quantum of being it. So you have to be able to go beyond your current story, your current limitations, everything that you know, how you relate to your body, your environment, the people in your life right now, and get sucked into the void of nothingness, where you become everything, everywhere, everyone, all at once. And then you focus on, if I were being that which I already wish to be, if I were already being abundant, if I were already being joy, if I were already being in love, if I were already being rich AF, if I were already being in a career that I loved, how would I feel? How would I feel? And you open your heart and you let your heart feel that. And all that's happening inside of you. That's how powerful you are, because it's inside of you and around you that information field is. You aren't separate from it, but it's your egoic story that still believes that you are, that believes there's a lack, that believes you have to do something in order to go get it. And I'm not saying action isn't a part of it, but action becomes different. Action actually becomes inspired from the field. So very much what will happen is everything that is current in your life in the 3D world has to shift, because a new order is in place, right? You placed your order, a new order is in place. So if there's things in your life that don't match that order, they have to go away. They have to fall apart. They have to dismantle. They have to come crumbling down sometimes. And this sometimes is what we call ascension symptoms. This is what we call chaos before order. This is what we call holy F, what the F is going on? I placed my order and then it seems like nothing's working out for me. Guess what? It is, because you placed the order. And the order has a certain structure and a certain frequency and a blueprint already built within it that is designed for you. It's designed for you to come in the right time, in the right form, through the right people, in the right way. That will blow your mind. It's supposed to blow your mind. It's supposed to blow your mind. And what I mean by that is the old mind, the old version of you, because every time this happens, it is an opportunity for the divine to work through you. And when the divine works through you, it leaves no doubt in your mind that it was from the divine, that it was this co-creation of this beautiful frequency and energy that loves you so incredibly much, that doesn't see you as your story. It doesn't identify with you as your story, but it will use it to blow your mind. It will put you in places and spaces around people that will see what is happening in your life and go, wow. And then you become a walking, living, divine testimonial of the divine, of love. That's why I'm here. I'm still learning with you guys. This is my understanding of it so far. And I want to share with you, as I'm speaking this is a frequency already. This is opening up your focus to give you a whole new perspective, a new understanding. Just like you, I listen to other speakers. I went to a week-long Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat. I've been doing this work for almost 2 decades in my life, and I will hear it differently depending on where I am at, what stage of evolution or expansion I'm at in my inner world inside, and I will hear it differently. And that's why it's important that if this is something that you're passionate about, to start talking about it. Start talking about it, because it's one thing to know it intellectually. It's another thing to experience it. And when you start experiencing it, you have your own unique fingerprint on it. And your fingerprint is a code that speaks and resonates to certain people depending where they are in their life. And that's why there's room for all of us. That's why we're all important. That's why we're all needed. That's why we're all here. That's why we're all walking miracles. That's why. So your only focus is to become it. And actually, if you take the come out of it, okay, we could go on a whole new topic here. If you take the come, C-O-M-E, out of it, and you train yourself, you practice to be it, which means you're literally creating a state of being for yourself. It's no different than making yourself a cake. You do it enough times, you get really good at making cake. And then everybody wants to eat your cake. You get really good at creating a state of being in love with life, being joyful, being at peace, being at rest in your heart, being relaxed in your heart, being joyful no matter what's happening around you. It takes practice, but eventually you get so good at it that people are going to want what you have. And they're going to want what you have because they're going to see an emanation of a reality that you have created from the inside out that reminds them of something. And you know what it reminds them of? Home. It reminds them of wholeness. It reminds them, it triggers a memory from beyond this time and space that says, hey, that's actually more natural than the surviving that I've created for myself for how many years based on programs and conditioning. Is there anything left? I don't think so. I feel so complete with this. I feel so complete with this. Go be it, and it will come to you. Go be it, and it will come to you. And every action step that you take in between is literally you drawing you to you. You, your pure consciousness, your spirit, your source energy, that is and was and always will be in the unified field of consciousness is looking out for you, the 3D you, and it's always you drawing you to you. It's saying, come over this way. Come over this way. That's why you get visions. That's why you get the deep soul ache of there's got to be more to this life. That's why you get inspired ideas. That is you calling you, saying, come out and play. Come create with me. Come live a more joyful life. Come fully engage with life because you only get to be this you in this lifetime, even though life is eternal. You only get to be this you with this name, with this history, in this body. And it's not fixed. You still have time to create it consciously and deliberately and make it better than it's been before. I love you. You're inherently worthy. It's time to step up and claim your soul inheritance. Life is the lottery. This is it. You've already won. Now, what are you going to do with that one life that you've won? Make it good.